Whatever is your desire, you will look for it. The thing is that they say people go to temple. Why are they going temple? They're going to temple and looking for food. So when you're going to the temple and looking for Paramatma, then it's one thing. Then you're going to get Paramatma in temple. But you're not going to get him if you're going for various reasons. So people always go after what they want. And whatever is their desire, they end up there. But if your desire is not Paramatma, you're not going to get even in temple. And if your desire is Paramatma, you can get Paramatma anywhere.
In your classes.
Sitting right here.
Sitting right here.
Yeah, in your class.
Even in simple thing. He says even drinking, just a simple act of drinking water. You are Paramatma. Paramatma is inside you. When you're drinking water, what are you doing? You are offering water to the God Himself. Right? Paramatma has created water. So it's almost like when a poet all of a sudden is in the middle of a crowd and somebody recites his own poem back to him. He gets so happy. If I'm an author and I write books and all of a sudden I'm going somewhere and all of a sudden there is a huge set of books and somebody sitting next to me, oh, do you see this book? I love this. And all of a sudden I'm so ecstatic because it was my creation. So God is inside and God is thirsty and He's getting water. It's His own creation. How could it not be the happiness moment? Now when you want Coke instead of water, then your mind is playing. Then it's not you. And so you're twisting the legs of your God and you're offering something that He didn't create. It was the creation of the mind.
We have a guest today. Two guests.
I got my hard time, now it's your turn.
Silence is best.
We are everywhere.
So simple act of daily life, eating, drinking, even sleeping, appreciate. Every single moment you can experience Paramatma. If you are in that state of mode of your mind, the bhav that creates that Paramatma is everywhere, Paramatma is infinite, He is everywhere. Every single that you think that you do is Paramatma. They say that if you put a seed in the ground, what is happening? Once you put the seed in the ground, you cover it up, you put a water, little seedling comes out, the sunshine comes in, gets bigger, turns into a tree. What happened? Consciousness in the form of seed was put into the ground, which is another form of consciousness. Water was poured over it, which is another form of consciousness. Seedling came out, another form of consciousness, became a tree, it's a consciousness. The whole thing is a play of consciousness. You are a play of consciousness. I am play of consciousness. Whatever is happening is consciousness. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. It's infinite. So you cannot even differentiate that, okay, I have consciousness in me. Your body is also consciousness. Whatever is experiencing outside is also conscious. So when you really develop that thought in your mind, that's bhav. Bhav being Paramatma, being everywhere, then every act in your life becomes an act of God. So that way the whole life has to be put into the gamble. You have to gamble your whole life. And when you say, and you're doing any act in your life, if you're doing it for your own personal satisfaction, trying to milk more money out of someone, cheating someone or something like that, and if you look at it in a different perspective, that this is all act of God, you're not going to do it. When you don't do it, then your life, whatever you do, becomes an expression of consciousness. Then consciousness is functioning through you. Your ego as your own subsides. You become just a flute in His hands. He's a flute player. You become a flute. So your ego subsides. Everything that you do becomes His act. And that's how people have done it. Like Michelangelo, he created all these paintings and his devotion for the God, God operated through him. Some of these achievements in life could not have been done on his own. It just happens. So a lot of creations, a lot of moments have happened. Things happen when people just give up their ego and just let it flow. The consciousness has created all these things, beautiful. But you have to become an instrument. And the only time you become instrument when your ego subsides. Ego is the mind. When you transcend the mind, that's when the play starts. The play of life. And it's going to happen. It's going to go on. This is just the interaction Purusha and Prakriti. It's been going on forever. There is no way you can change it. It's been happening even before you were born, and even after you. I had a patient. He's now gonna go for ECT for his severe depression. I said, what happened? So he said that he had a check cashing business, and everything went down, wrong decisions, and this and that, and now people are looking for money from me, and this and that, and all that. And I'm hoping that ECT will fix me up, and he's already on so many medications for depression. And I said, for what? After all, it's all material gain and material loss, and he's on a verge of suicide. So they want to put him on. But it's just the mind takes you to that point, and yet we don't give up our reliance on the mind, right? So that's why Rajni says that, like, people came to me and they say people don't have faith nowadays. He says, I have never seen a person without faith. Now your faith may be misdirected. Your faith in Paramatma may not be there, but your faith in your mind is always there. Anything that you do, you have faith in your mind. Mind will take me somewhere. Mind has not taken you anywhere. For all these generations, mind has not made you be reborn and reborn and reborn. Like Kabir says, that you're building the castles of sand. These are sand castles. Your body is a sand castle. It can blow away any minute, right? Disease can happen. It can be taken away. Yet, and Kabir is talking to his mind. He says, I hate you because you have made me go through build these sand castles and made me believe that these are real castles. And yet, I have not been anywhere, right? So, when you stop, stop believing your mind and you start realizing the futility of all this human existence, that's when something permanent, desire for something permanent starts. They say there's a faith in such a stupid mind which has not achieved anything for you. What kind of faith is that? So the faith is always there, but faith in a wrong direction. Every time you pick up Haagen-Dazs, you say, okay, I have faith, it will give me that pleasure. It does, until someday it stops giving you the pleasure. Same thing Heineken. He said when the liver enzymes come up, and then I thought I could trust Haagen-Dazs. I thought I could trust Heineken. But it was not Heineken or Haagen-Dazs. Again, calm generates the Kamini. It's your desire to have pleasure out of Haagen-Dazs generated the pleasure of Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs has nothing to do with that. It was just sitting there. It would not have bothered you, but you wanted to have pleasure out of it. It's your desire generates the whole world. All this Dhyato Vishayam Punsa, the objects of pleasures are generated because of us.
But for the game to go on, for the play to go on, that is required.
Exactly.
It is a play,
It is a play.
It's a spice.
But we have to realize that it's a play.
Right, true.
And I think you have to choose what's important and what's not.
Choose in what way?
Choose in, like, you make, like he said, the Haagen-Dazs, if you have a choice between Haagen-Dazs and beer, then go for Haagen-Dazs.
No, you're missing a point.
Don't get your spoiled.
You got to transcend. It is not choice. You got to transcend.
You're missing a point.
No,
No,
the
you're
choice
missing
is
a
yours.
That's what I'm saying.
The
So
best
don't
choice
go
is
for
to walk
anything.
away. The best choice
But
is
if
to
I
be...
walk away, best choice is to walk away. But if I'm not at that stage, then slowly I'll get there. But the first
Maybe.
thing is
Maybe, yeah.
make a bet, start at least making a better choice.
I have no guarantee. I cannot assure you on that.
No, I-
Mind
You got to
can do a lot of
transcend.
things.
Well, life has no guarantee.
But how can you
There is a
pick
guarantee,
a
though.
better choice when they're both poison? They're both going to kill you eventually.
No,
How
but
can
she's
you
saying that if I'm not that state to
No,
understand.
and besides the point, if you have a limitation,
You have Haagen-Dazs in
Haagen-Dazs
your
won't
fridge?
kill you. No, Haagen-Dazs won't form your addiction.
But you're missing a point. What he's trying to say.
No, I know. I'm trying to understand what he's trying
See,
to
the
tell
thing
me.
is that, again, when you say that you don't have a choice, there is a choice. So the spirituality creates that choice for you. The J.J. Krishnamurti said that to have choices in your life is good life. But when you be able to choose, walk away from your choices, that's the best choice you can have. So the freedom to choose is the best freedom to have, but freedom from your choices is the ultimate freedom.
That's independence.
So then the objects come and go. It could be 10,000 different ice creams and 10,000 different beers. To be able to walk away from them all is your choice. To give in to any one of the objects is the object's choice. You're losing your
They
freedom.
controlled you. You didn't control them.
You're giving the power. Your thoughts are powerful, right? You spending energy. We don't realize it, but every thought does require certain form of energy at our mind level. Maybe it's not costing probably pennies or something like that. But if you really realize that ultimate rest to the mind is thoughtless state, right? The samadhi state, where you have not to think about anything. But every time we think, we're spending energy. Now, that energy, if you're looking at it, you're throwing a penny. Once you get serious about it, you're throwing $1. I'm putting in $1 value.
Yeah.
But once you get hooked on it, the value of that Heineken goes up $100 or $150 or $1 million. It all depends how much importance you want. So it's like that's putting in a Guju's way. If the Gujus are,
Amitabh, what
the
he's
Gujus are
saying
going to
is
be saying that, okay, every thought you generate is going to be costing you a penny. Then you say, okay.
it's the same thing. We were talking in square yard, then square foot, now square inches, real estate. The price has gone up in the mind, not
It's all
in
in the
the
mind.
object.
So it's up to us how much importance you want to give. Now, your choice is also to conserve all that energy and put it in a proper direction, in a vertical shift, and align yourself to the spiritual plane and go into the vertical direction and get out of this horizontal. But again, it's a shift of mind and it takes time. And you're right, it doesn't happen overnight. But I'm just saying, that is the whole purpose of the discussion, right? So the happiness is inside, but we're looking for happiness from outside. And that's where we are wrong. It's like you give a bone to a dog. The dog keeps on licking the bone. There is nothing in the bone. The bone, he keeps on biting and chewing on the bone. Meanwhile, his own gums start bleeding from inside. He's tasting the blood and he thinks the blood is coming out of the bone. So he keeps chewing more and more and more. And it keeps on going on. So that kind of existence we are having. We're using the outside objects.
Same thing. Mind is chewing on the
Exactly.
objects
Outside object.
and thinking the pleasure's coming from there.
But it's not.
It's not.
It's our
It's his
own
own
pleasures.
pleasure.
Illusion.
Exactly. So we biting on Haagen-Dazs and blaming the Haagen-Dazs. But it's not the Haagen-Dazs to be blamed. It's us.
The pleasure is inside.
Pleasure is all inside. If it was in the Haagen-Dazs, somebody else who hates beer
Yeah.
would be liking it. There is no pleasure in the bottle of Haagen-Dazs. There is no pleasure in the can of Haagen-Dazs or Heineken or whatever.
अमिताभ बच्चन कहते हैं ना कि दारू अगर दारू में नशा होता तो बोतलें
Bottle में
नाचती.
nasty, right? That's right. Bottles don't dance. That's right.
Well said.
Exactly.
अमिताभ बच्चन
Yeah,
का बहुत
because
famous
it's true. One person likes it, other person doesn't
Should like
like
it
it.
too.
It doesn't give pleasure. Maybe it gives displeasure
Right.
to that person.
Exactly. So the pleasure is deep inside us and we go crazy. We keep looking for pleasures outside. And we keep fighting for pleasure. We want pleasures. And when we don't get pleasures, we are unhappy. And all those things keep on directed towards outside. That is the job of the mind, to keep us occupied. These are just the toys. I don't like one toy, so I hate that toy. I like this toy, so I'm going to go with that toy. But meanwhile, the toy is giving me the pleasure, but then all of a sudden another toy comes in. It just keeps going on and on and on. Like I said earlier, if I give a toy to the child, his mother may be dying, he would not give up the toys because he's so occupied with the toys. So we have to come out of that occupation. Occupation with the material world has to cease, Rajneesh gives an example of a dog who happens to walk into a palace. And in the palace, king had set up a room he ends up in, all covered with mirrors. And all he sees is his own image. He doesn't realize that is not another dog. He keeps on barking and barking and barking. He thought he can shut them out. They bark more. And there are thousands of them around. Then he shouts and then he starts attacking them. They attack back. By the morning, the dog was dead. So we are doing exactly the same thing.
Same thing.
We keep going after the pleasures. We're thinking the pleasure is in the objects, which is totally wrong. The pleasure is inside us. We're trying to tantalizing. And then, if the pleasure was not inside, outside object would not have given us a pleasure either.
And the funny thing is, as you mentioned, like once you get the object, The
pleasure disappears anyway.
Pleasure disappears within
Few
days.
minutes.
Yeah, within days.
First bite of Haagen-Dazs tastes delicious. The second maybe a little bit. Third one maybe. The after fourth and fifth you finish because you paid for it.
True.
It doesn't, and suppose you give one package, then you give another. Oh no, you can't have. If there was a real pleasure, then you would be able to continuous pleasure. So the pleasure is kind of scratched off, like a scratch of games, and then you're scratching your own mind to generate the pleasure out. So inside is where the real pleasure is. We're just using it, outside objects, to elicit that pleasure. But if you go deep inside, then you have perpetual pleasure all the time. That's like Kasturi Mrug that they talk about. Kasturi Mrug, when he's in a heat, his belly has that sense gland that generates the beautiful fragrance and that attracts the female for the mating purpose. But meanwhile, the Kasturi Mrug himself does not know where the fragrance is coming from. So he goes crazy. He's also going after the same pleasure, same fragrance. And he bangs against the trees and he starts looking, he bites on this and that. He gets loiluan, he loses consciousness, not realizing it was all along, it was deep inside. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're going in the society looking for all these things and really not going anywhere. And meanwhile, the big pot full of Amrit is sitting inside and we don't even realize. That we can realize only when we direct all the concentration, all the energy, all the dollars and cents that we were being charged for the thoughts, we don't spend and put that energy deep inside. That's when we start experiencing the infinite bliss. And it's there. He says when you see an object outside, you see an outside scene, right? We are using the eyes. But eyes are not the seers. Eyes don't see anything. Eyes only transmit the images. Ears only transmit the sound. Skin only transmit the touch sensations. But ultimately seer is inside. So one way to meditate would be stop looking outside, stop thinking outside, stop hearing from outside. Focus all your senses to feel within, as if with your eyes closed. You're trying to see consciousness, trying to feel consciousness, trying to taste consciousness. And it's a big part, and because everything came from there anyway. So the pleasure has to be there. So eventually you reach to that state. So that's the direction that we have to take. So the problem is that when we think that pleasure is outside, we're trying to fix the outside world, which is full of duality, and the duality cannot be fixed because our mind can perceive only the one part of the reality, not the other part of the reality. So we keep fumbling all the time. And then he gives an example of Mullah Nasruddin. That's his famous. He says that one day he came home drunk, and now he's trying to open the lock of the door. Now his hands are shaking. He sees multiple things. He thinks everything is moving, and he's trying to steady himself and trying to put the key into the lock. So there was a policeman standing there. He says, "Can I help you, sir?" He says, "If you really want to help me, hold on to the house that's shaking." So the world is going to shake. It's the duality. It's our mind that sees as a duality. And it's like a prism. Is the light shines through the prism, it breaks into multiple colors. And we're trying to put all the colors and trying to find a piece out of that. The piece is not there. Peace is not there because we're using the mind. As mind is our prism, and we're looking at the mind in a differentiated way. And we think pleasure is going to be in this color, or this color, or this color. But the peace is not going to be there until you reach to the source. So mind is a really faulty instrument that is given to us to really realize this world. We are never going to reach there. And there is no end. Because they say, just the way, even though we call material world as a finite, but the total material world is going to be infinite. You may accumulate $1 million, or $2 million, or $5 million, or $10 million. There's going to be a limit. Because you have a limitation of your senses. There is a beyond that, you're going to be 60, 70, 80, and then die. There's going to be a limit how much you can accumulate. But the material world itself, if you look at it, is infinite too, because it's also a manifestation of Paramatma. So whatever is Paramatma has to be infinite also. We think that, okay, there is an edge of the universe, 13.5 billion years back. All those galaxies were created first. But do we know if there is another universe? There may be. How? If a Paramatma is created, why would he create only one universe? Why not multiple universes? Why not infinite universes? We don't know.
There is no end to
There is
it.
no end. So give up. So give up, bow down, and be a part of him. So that's why Rajni says this. He says, Hoka, he may be big Surya.